Batting first and playing right center is Lawrence. Batting second and playing right field, Leanne. Batting third, playing shortstop, Anthony. Batting fifth, playing left center, Joe. Batting fifth, playing second base, Pete. Batting sixth and playing third base is Emma. Batting seventh, playing left field, Ian. Batting ninth, playing first base, Ellie. Batting 10th and pitching, Adam. And then we have catcher, Charlie. Also hoping to get a run out today for the Mavericks. On the bench we have Lubomir, Eliezer, and Tonya. Let's hear it for the Mavericks. The home team in today's NSL2 Cup final are the Bristol Bees. Batting first, we have number 54 playing second base, Chris Ingle. Batting second, number 50 and playing third base, Kerry McGinnis. Batting third, number 11 playing right center, Ross Pascal. Batting fourth, number 17 playing left center, Charlotte Sykes. Batting fifth, number 33, shortstop, George Savitz. Batting sixth, number 14, right field, Jill Brown. Batting seventh, number 15, left field, Trevor Sykes. Batting eighth, number 18, and playing catcher, Rachel Martins. Batting ninth, number 16, pitcher, Tony Soterio. Batting 10th, number 79, playing first base, Holly Von Penguin. And also getting a run out today for Bristol, we have number 28, Callum Joins. And number 2, Mary Denning. Let's hear it for Bristol Bees. And our umpires for today's final, in the field we have Jason Smith. And behind the plate, we have Darryl Pittman. Those are our teams for today's final. Shake hands and let's play ball. Autographs after the game.
Welcome back to Farnham Park for our the second game that we're web streaming today in the British Softball Federation National Championship Finals, and this is the final of National Softball League 2 between the Manchester Mavericks and the Bristol Bees. And helping me to commentate on this game is Sarah Vertigan, formerly the manager for many years of the GB Slow Pitch team, qualified coach, has done a lot of coaching in Europe and in the UK. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Bob.
So what can you tell us about these teams?
Well, they're both pretty evenly matched. We play against them, my team plays against them on a fairly regular basis. This should be quite a close final, I suspect, and they've both fought very hard to get here. It's not been an easy path for either team.
And we're about to start, and leading off for the Manchester Mavericks is the right center fielder, Lawrence Pearmain. Tony Soterio pitching for the Bees. Longtime player and also longtime umpire for Bristol.
Yes, apparently used to be ESF umpire back in the day, I was told earlier.
First strike, so the count goes to 2-1.
Under pressure early is better.
Ground ball to second base, and it's mishandled, and Lawrence Perriman is going to reach first base.
Bit of a nervy swing there, but he managed to get enough on it.
Mavericks come into this game on the back of a dramatic 15-14 win over Spam in the effectively the semifinal. Spam came into the game 7 runs in the last inning, 7 runs down, brought it back to 1 run behind, left the tying run on third base. The Mavericks breathed a huge sigh of relief, and here they are. And the batter now is Leanne Cracknell. Fly ball to left center field. That's taken.
Nice grab by centre left there.
So there's 1 down, a runner still on first. And the batter is Anthony Garcia Reyes, the Maverick shortstop.
This guy can hit all fields. See if he can go right field here.
Line drive, second baseman gets a glove on it, pushes it towards second base. The ball, the runner arrived, everyone is safe.
A good slide in there from the runner. Again, making some luck off a good hard ground ball there.
Could have had a fortunate out on that one if they'd actually pushed it right to second base. Joanna Griffin is up now, the left center fielder for the Mavericks, with 2 runners on and 1 out.
Yeah, this is now Mavericks' 4th game in a row this afternoon, so they must be feeling it.
Count goes to 1-1 on Joanna Griffin. Pulls the ball foul down the left field line and over the fence.
Good hard hit there.
So 2-2.
She needs to get this within the lines now, so I would think she would think about going up the middle.
The pitch is short for ball 3, so it's full count, and Tonya Bastille will not want to walk her. Line drive, but right to the shortstop. Easy play.
Not a bad at-bat there, waiting for what she wanted, but didn't quite come off well.
So 2 down now, still runners on first and second. And the batter is the veteran second base player for the Mavericks, Peter Nightingale.
Yes, this is Pete. He used to play in the GB team back in the day. Very, very good quality player. Big hitter.
Takes the pitch high for a ball. And pulls it sharply foul down the left field line, past third base. Count goes to 1-1. This is where games can swing back and forth. The Bees can get out of this without a run being scored, or the Mavericks can suddenly turn this into a couple runs. And there's a base hit to left field. That's going to score at least 1. Throw comes back in. 1 run scores, and the Mavericks take a 1-0 lead.
Very good base running there from all the guys.
Pete Nightingale took second on the throw back in. Anthony Garcia Reyes went to third, so now 2 more runs in scoring position for the Mavericks. Emma Carruthers at bat.
And she is capable of hitting the ball a long way out here. Got a lot of power. Great.
Ground ball past the second base into right center field. That's going to bring in 2 more runs. Pete Nightingale trots home. The throw comes back in.
Lovely, lovely hit there from Emma.
The Mavericks now have 3 runs on the board.
Well, this guy is definitely struggling a little earlier today with his batting. Let's see if he's managed to clean it up now.
This is Ian Yates. Looks at ball 2. And ball 3, the ball pitch hits the plate.
He's in a good position now.
That's ball 4, and that's something that Tony Soterio kind of kicks the dirt because that's going to load the bases.
Yeah,
because
that would be expensive.
With 2 outs, if you walk a male batter, the following female batter can choose to walk. They almost always do.
And up it comes. This is Adam Cole at the plate now, and he is another XGB batter with a very big hit on him.
And it's the 5th straight ball that Tony's thrown. It's high and inside.
Adam's probably one of the last people who wants at the plate when you've just loaded the bases with a walk.
Another pitch hits the plate. That's 2 balls, 1 strike, bases loaded. This could turn into a very big inning for the Mavericks if the Bees are not careful here.
Yeah, Bees looking like the more tired team at the moment.
High drive to left field, but that is going to be caught short of the fence. That's the 3rd out. A manageable inning for Bees, but 3 runs for Mavericks at the end of the top of the 1st inning. They lead 3-0.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that, and I think the Bees will be too. They kind of escaped there from what could have been very, very damaging.
These, actually, the Bees, as Sarah said, they're looking at a tired team right now. They had a very tough 7-6 win over Spam in the first playoff game this morning. Then that got them to, that got them to the final, so they should be less tired than the Mavericks.
Yeah, they've had that break as well.
They've had a break.
Yeah.
There's always that discussion about, is it better to have a break or is it better to keep playing through?
I think potentially if you've had 1 or 2 games, it's probably better not to have a break, but if it's your 4th game in a row, then I think we would all like a break.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Especially as it's pretty warm today.
So now the Bees come up for their first at bat. The leadoff hitter is Chris Ingle, the 2nd baseman, facing Adam Cole, pitching for the Mavericks.
Very good, consistent hitter, Chris, and a very quick base runner.
Takes ball 1, lines the ball past the 2nd base position into right center field, and the Bees get their first runner on base.
Good lead off there.
And that brings up the 3rd base player, Sari McGinnis.
Now, Bees certainly have some girls who can hit a very long way. I know we've seen it, unfortunately, against us a few times.
How did your team wind up in this?
We finished 7th this weekend, Bob, I'm afraid. Yeah, it just wasn't our weekend, but won our last game and we had a very good win against Spam yesterday evening.
Sari looks at a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's a fly ball in the left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Pushes Chris Ingle to 2nd base, and the Bees have their own rally going with runners on 1st and 2nd and no one out.
One of those hits that kind of floats and drops a bit, but it's good contact on it.
The batter now, Ross Maskell.
Dangerous batter, can hit with power all fields.
Takes the pitch high and deep for a ball.
This is a nice start from the Bees here.
Ball 3. Walk here would not be a good thing for the Mavericks. And Adam Cole throws a strike.
Sneak that one in.
Ross was always taking that. Now he swings, lines the ball between 1st and 2nd base into right field. That's going to bring home 1 run. Sari McGinnis stops at 2nd base. So the Bees have eaten into the deficit. There's still no one out. Runners on 1st and 2nd. And Charlotte Sykes coming to bat.
That was quickly in from Leanne from the right field there. Saved anyone going to 3rd.
Charlotte takes strike 1. Pop up into the infield. and it drops. No one can quite get to it. Catcher ran down the line but couldn't quite get there. Adam Cole.
They're always tough. They
Had a goal
tend to
ad,
spin
but-
away from you on the right side there.
So Charlotte Sykes gets a life, but with a 2-strike count.
Charlotte batting fourth. She's certainly capable.
It's a ground ball, base hit in the left field. It's going to send Sari McGinnis to third. It's going to load the bases. Still with no one out. And it's going to bring George Stamets to the plate. And the Bees are more than answering the Mavericks here.
They really are, yeah. They look that little bit fresh, although Mavericks don't look as tired as I would expect them to. They must be feeling a bit tired.
It's a fly ball in the left field. It's diving catch attempt. The ball squirts away in the left center field. 1 run is home. 2 runs are home. Charlotte Sykes goes to third. George Stamets to second. The game is tied. The Bees still have 2 runners in scoring position, and still no one out.
Brilliant effort from Ian in left field there. That was very, very tough. He did well to actually make contact with that ball.
Jill Brown, the batter now. And takes the strike. And a ball. The Bees are going to want to cash at least these 2 runners on second and third base and take the lead in this game. Ground ball to third base, throw to first is in time. The run comes home. Both runners move up. The Bees take a 4-3 lead, so an RBI for Jill Brown.
Nice out there by Emma to first base. She doesn't miss those.
So now the Bees have a runner on third, 1 out. And the batter is the left fielder, Trevor Sykes.
This is a great first inning for Bees, having held the Mavs to just 3.
Trevor takes the ball high, a little deep. Line drive up the middle. That's a solid base hit. Drives in the run. Trevor stops at first base. The ball comes back in. The Bees extend their lead.
They're really rolling along now, looking very comfortable.
So 1 out, runner on first for the Bees. 5 runs in. The batter is the catcher, Rachel Martins. And looks at the ball deep. It's a sharp ground ball to third base off the glove of Emma Carruthers. Goes into short left center field. It's a base hit.
Emma couldn't quite reach that one. And another Bees batter reaches base.
So the rally keeps going. Runners on first and second. And Tony Soterio, the pitcher.
And a couple of batters now have got away with hitting to the left side of the infield with runners on. Risky.
Tony takes the strike. Another ball down to third base. This one is off the glove of Emma. The shortstop picks it up. Throws to second to get the force out. The ball goes into right field. 1 run is home. Both runners move up.
Oh dear, 2 expensive errors there.
6 runs in for the Bees. And the inning keeps going, and the Mavericks are bringing some of this on themselves.
Definitely. That was well run by the Bees players there, but yeah, the Mavs really hurt themselves.
That's a fly ball, base hit into right center field. Another run scores. Another runner to third base. That was Holly Von Penguin.
Lovely single from Holly.
First base player.
Smart hit.
The Bees have batted around. They're back to the top of the order. 7 runs are home. And the Mavericks are kind of wondering where their next out is going to come from. We're back to Chris Ingle.
Yeah, the outs have been there for the taking, but they haven't managed to make them. It's putting extra pressure on Adam here pitching.
Ground ball right back at him cold. He looks the runner back at third, throws to first. Holly Von Penguin manages to go from first to second, but no more runs come home. It's the second out of the inning, and the Bees still have 2 runners in scoring position. And Sari McGinnis at the plate.
Let's see what Sarah can do here. She can score another run here.
Sari takes a strike. It's a fly ball in the left field, but that's going to be caught by Ian Yates. That's the third out finally for Mavericks. 7 runs have scored. And the score at the end of the first inning, Bees 7, Mavericks 3. Mavericks are going to need to answer, and some of that fielding we saw in that inning may have been the tiredness that you were talking about.
I think so. Certainly, I would say definitely with Emma, just a couple of just being out of her reach, which she would maybe normally get to, and the overthrow to second base as well. That was a tired throw.
Yeah, I mean, that happens in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
The ball's rebounded to the shortstop.
Yeah.
He sees an out, a possible out.
Loss of
second
concentration
base.
when you're tired and hot.
Yeah.
Those little things.
So let's see what the Mavericks can do here in the
Well, they're a good hitting team, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them come back.
top of the second inning, and Ellie Buckley is the first batter. The Mavericks' first base player. The Bees will be looking for a shutdown inning here to consolidate that lead.
Getting the first batter out is always huge.
Ground ball to shortstop, backhanded, a little bobble, and the throw is wide at first base. Little
She ran
bobble
that very
kind of
well.
took him out of his rhythm, and Ellie Buckley reaches first. Brings Adam Cole to the plate.
He's got them the wrong way around. Look, he's got them there. This is what they gave us.
Oh, sorry.
Does Adam Buckley?
Sorry, the batter is now Charlie Cook, and he hits a pop-up to shortstop. That's going to be easy. That's 1 out.
So we still have Charlie on first base. She hustled out the slight error from the shortstop. And we have 1 down. This is Leanne.
And that pitch is high for a ball. 1 out, 1 on. Ground ball to second base. Up with it over to shortstop for the force out. Back to first. Too late.
No mistake from second base in this inning for the Bees. Nice clean pick up there.
So that's 2 outs. A runner on first base. And the batter will be Anthony Garcia Reyes.
We really need Anthony to come up with something here for them.
Anthony takes a strike. There's a long way to go in this game. It's a final, so it's a full 7-inning game. Fly ball to right field. And that is down. Runners are tearing around the bases. Charlie's coming in to score, and Anthony is looking to make this an inside the park home run, and he does.
That's fantastic. What a hit.
So that's 2 runs for Mavericks just when they needed them.
Exactly what they needed there. What a lift that'll give them.
Joanna Griffin comes to the plate, but the Mavericks are going to feel a lot better about this inning than they might have done. They're still trailing, but the lead is certainly something they can breach.
Definitely, and they're the kind of team that can haul that back. They won't be too worried at this point.
Ball inside to Joanna Griffin. And a strike.
If they can get another runner on here, that will really help. And continue lifting them up, ready for their next inning.
Another pitch inside, that's 2-1. Pop foul, but that's going to be out of play over the fence. The count goes to 2-2. Ground ball to shortstop, up with it, throw to first. Nice play. Inning is over, but a productive inning for the Mavericks. They're back in the ball game. Going into the bottom of the second inning, it's Bees 7 and Mavericks 5.
Felt they really had to get something out of that inning, the Mavericks. That was essential at this point before the Bees start to run away with it a bit. And this is a new experience for a lot of these players, playing in front of cameras, and there's quite a lot of people watching. It's on pitch one. A lot of the NSL1 teams are waiting to go on later. And it can be really nerve-wracking the first time you play in this kind of situation. I know I've had a few leg-shaking moments, and it's been like this.
But it's really good that NSL2 teams are being
yeah.
able to play in this situation. I mean, they've been relegated to the back pitches for a long time.
It's about time, and especially the level, certainly in the last year's level, NSL2 has just climbed and climbed. There's some excellent players playing at this level. There was an awful lot of close games this weekend as well. That one-run game is a huge number. These 8 teams that have made it to this Nationals are very close to each other.
Yes. I think in NSL1 you could maybe look at Chromies and Pioneers as being a little bit above the rest, but then Knights gave Pioneers a wonderful game. Almost caused a huge upset.
Yeah, they're really doing that. And there's probably 4 or 5 teams who are on their day. In NSL2, I would say there's easily 8, 9 teams on their day. Extremely competitive.
This is Ross Maskell hitting the ball to left center field. Out of the glove of the left center fielder, so Ross is going to get to second base. And I guess you have to score that an error.
Yes, definitely. I would say that was a pretty regulation catch. She just didn't move her feet as much as she maybe could have done. Again, the sun's right in her face too, makes it tough.
Yeah, the sun's going to be an increasing factor on this field as we get into the late afternoon. It's right in the fielder's eyes, particularly on the left side. This is Charlotte Sykes with Ross Maskell on second base. And that's a base hit. And it goes through the left center fielder all the way to the fence. Charlotte Sykes is just going to keep running, and she's held at third base.
You've got to feel for the centre left fielder there.
Yeah, that's
having dropped the ball, then she literally one went right between her feet there. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
got to get your glove on the grass in that situation.
She's out there kind of waving her arms a bit and trying to clear her head. But that's a run for the Bees, and Charlotte Sykes on third base and no one out.
She just needs to shake that off now and get going. She'll be fine.
George Stamets, line drive, base hit, over third base into left field. That brings in Charlotte Sykes. So that's 2 more runs for the Bees in this inning. Still no one out. George Stamets stops at first base.
The Bees are just looking very relaxed. Every time someone comes up, you feel like they're going to get a hit. And that's the way they'll be feeling. And that brings hits.
Yeah, teams get on a roll or kind of feeding frenzy, if you like.
Definitely, yeah. It's like errors breed errors, hits breed hits.
So this is Jill Brown, the right fielder. Little ground ball to third. Emma goes to second base, but too late for the force play there. The ball kind of looped. She had to let it drop. She had to pick it up. There just wasn't much time.
They kill you, those. There's nothing you can do about it.
So the Bees rally continues here. Runners on first and second. Trevor Sykes is the batter. It looks at the ball. Little pop foul. Back and out of play over the fence.
Aiming for us there, Bob.
Trevor climbs back in. Adam Cole pitches. Inside for ball 2.
It's been a very long day for these pitchers. A lot of the times they seem to have been facing into the sun when they've been pitching. It's very hot.
Line drive into center field. Base hit. That's going to score another run. Another runner is going to third. The throw back in is dropped by Anthony Garcia Reyes. The Bees just keep going. Runners on the corners.
This is pretty relentless.
And still no one out. Rachel Martins is the batter. And looks at the ball inside. And a ball deep. And just starting to be a long inning for Adam Cole. That's a strike. And that's a ball, 3-1. Another ball will load the bases. And there it is.
That was a close one.
3 balls and 2 strikes. No, it's a walk.
I thought that was 4.
Yeah, I thought it was a walk.
I didn't trust my own counting.
The umpire certainly didn't say anything. So Rachel walks. The bases are loaded. There's still no one out. Tony Soterio at the plate.
Adam was a bit too honest there.
Pinch hitter here, I think.
That was the pitcher.
That's another base hit. That's 2 more runs into right center field.
Nice solid single line drive to the right field there, centre right there. Just what you want.
That'll bring up Holly Von Penguin. There's still no one out. There's still 2 runners on.
She's a tough batter, Holly.
Do the Mavericks have another pitcher?
Pete can pitch, and I'm not sure where if they have another one apart from Pete. Pete's shout, Bob, to be honest, at this point. Adam's had a very long day.
Swing and a miss. You don't see many of those. Kind of swung out of her shoes at that one.
She was a little ahead of that one.
A little pop fly to third base. That settles in Emma Carruthers' mitt, and finally the Mavericks get an out.
Okay, a nice easy pop up to third base there. It's unlike Holly, but that's good for the Mavs. They'll be pleased with that one.
So that brings up the top of the order for the Bees. Chris Ingle at the plate.
The danger for the Mavs here is his ability to line drive to the right side.
Looks at a pitch outside for ball 1. And deep for ball 2.
That's not what he's looking for. Up middle pitch.
It's a chopper to third base. Emma has his steps on third and throws over second base, looking for the force play and a double play. That allows both runners to move up. So the Mavs get a second out, but an error gives the Bees an extra 2 bases they shouldn't have had.
Yeah, absolutely. That second time thrown over second base. I'm surprised that Chris went for that actually with only 1 strike on him, not waiting for the outside pitch he hit so well, and then ground down to third base and really should have been a double.
This is Carrie McGinnis. And 2 runners in scoring position, which if she can cash them would make it another big inning for the Bees. Three balls, no strikes. In danger of loading the bases again in front of Ross Maskell. And that's just what's happened. So it's a walk for Carrie McGinnis. The bases are loaded. Ross Maskell, who led off this inning,
Yep.
coming back to the plate.
He led off with a lovely, the error dropped out of the glove in centre left. And that's what started it all, really.
And that's the fifth straight ball that Adams thrown. That's a high fly ball into right center field. And that's the third out.
Well, that wasn't the pitch that Ross wanted to hit. It was deep on outside and really wanted to wait for something a bit more manageable.
So, Jenny, how many runs that inning? So 5 more runs for the Bees. And the score is...
That's not as far as ahead it feels. 12-5 is definitely retrievable. In one inning, even.
But the Bees will be, they'll be feeling pleased with life at the moment.
Yeah, they've got to be happy with that. I think they would have liked Ross to be a little more patient at bat there with runners on.
Yeah, there's a point beyond which, if the lead gets big enough, you kind of feel it's not retrievable. As long as it's kind of under 10 in this kind of game, you feel you can probably pull it back.
Keeping these fields in tip-top shape. I'd like to give a shout out to Tristan Cam, Tom Thornhill, Liam Morrison, and Peter Pratt for keeping these fields going and letting us sit back and enjoy ourselves. Round of applause for him. Thanks very much.
Okay, so Pete Nightingale is up.
3, it's Mavericks 5, Bees 12.
This is a good place for them to start. 2 very good batters, Emma behind him.
And he chops the ball right back to the pitcher. Tony Soterio runs and takes it himself.
Not quite sure why he did that.
No, and it's not going to make Holly feel great, but...
it's going to earn him a scolding.
He's giving her a hug. She may or may not get him excused for that. Nevertheless, it's an out.
I think he's buying the drinks later. Yeah, very un-Pete-like there. We've got Emma to lead us off now.
And Emma takes strike 1. And a line drive base hit just inside third base, down the left field line. She takes the turn, but she'll hold at first base, and that was a nice hit.
Very good hit.
Yes, Emma!
The sun at this point is fairly bad in the eyes of third base too, so finding the line there was a good idea.
This is going to bring Ian Yates to the plate. Fly ball into...
That's
down for a hit in right center field. Emma's going to third, Ian's going to second, and the Mavericks are in business.
That was one of those, a bit of a slice to centre right there, and it span and dropped quite quickly.
And of course they have to play somebody like that deep. The ball just drops in between the infield and the outfield.
I really don't think that's where he was intending to hit the ball, but it worked out nicely.
So Ellie Buckley at bat and takes the ball. And that's another base hit into right center field, and that's going to score 2 runs.
There we go.
Fake the throw to the plate, but they don't make it because there was no point. And
Lovely job from Ellie there. That was a very important hit. That's got them on a little bit of a roll now, and a second out there would have stopped them in their tracks.
So 1 down, runner on first base. Adam Cole, the batter.
This would be a good time for Adam to have one of his trademark over the fence home runs. I think that would tie the game up. Oh, no, not quite.
No, 12-7.
Certainly go a long way towards it.
At the moment, he's not getting anything to hit. So fly ball in the left field is not going to go over the fence. It's going to drop for a base hit in front of the left fielder. So runners on first and second, still just 1 out.
Them having to field so deep is an advantage in that situation where really that would have been a fly out for a lot of guys. But the fielder was pretty much on the fence, allowing Adam to just drop that in front.
This is Charlie Cook at bat. And she'll be followed by the top of the Mavericks order. Ground ball to shortstop, it bobbled, but thrown to second for 1 out. The overthrow back to first. That's going to let another run come in. So the Bees get an out, but it's a costly out.
Yeah, not a good error from second base there. Got a little bit excited.
So 2 down, a runner on first base. 3 runs have scored, cutting the deficit to 12-8. And we're back to Lawrence Fairmain. That looked like a nice pitch, but it wasn't called, so it's ball 1. And that's a line drive into right center field. That's down. For
That's
base
the best
hit.
hit we've seen this inning.
It's going to be a double. It's going to chase Charlie Cook to third.
That was superb. Just what the Mavericks needed. So they're keeping rolling here.
Let's see if Leanne Cracknell can cash these 2 runs. Do you have a feeling we're looking at a kind of 22 to 18 game here?
It could be one of those. The full 7 innings is great as well because it allows ebbs and flows and comebacks, and the time games sometimes they just feel they are a little short to really allow the changes that can happen in a slow pitch game.
That's into right center field, but that's caught. That's the 3rd out, so the Mavericks have to settle for 3, which brings them back to 12-8, and they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that's good.
So at the end of 2.5 innings, the score is Bristol Bees 12, Mavericks 8, and the Bees will see if they can tack on.
Looks like the Bees pitcher and first base are still speaking, so that's good.
Yeah, what happened to let the girls play?
Quite. She was much nicer to him than I would be to my pitcher if he did that.
So Charlotte Sykes will be leading off here for the Bees in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Let's see if the Bees can keep this great batting impetus going, because they can feel the Mavericks starting to creep up on them. They're going to need to keep going here. It's sometimes harder to maintain a lead than it is to actually catch somebody up.
And we have a change of pitcher.
Oh, here's Pete. Nightingale.
Pete Nightingale in the circle now, and Charlotte Sykes greets him with a base hit to center field. Adam Cole has gone to second base. So the pitcher and second base will switch positions.
It's a smart switch. Why not change it at this point?
So runner on first, no one out. George Stamets at bat. Takes the ball. And a strike. Count goes to 1-1. And it's a pop-up. Emma Carruthers is there, takes it.
Calls off her shortstop.
So 1 down. Charlotte Sykes remains at first base. And Jill Brown comes to the plate.
Another one of those dangerous female hitters.
And looks at 2 strikes. And pops the ball foul. That's going to be automatically out, because in slow pitch softball, you get the ball foul on the 3rd strike, that's an out. So that's a second out that the Mavericks were looking for.
Feels like a slight turning point here.
Trevor Sykes is the batter, still a runner on first base. And the pitch is outside for a ball. That's a one hop to Emma Carruthers. She goes to second for the force out, and that's a great inning for the Mavericks.
No mistake there in the throw to 2. Perfect.
So the Bees fail to score. They fail to add to their total. It's 12-8 at the end of 3 innings.
Yeah, Mavs will feel like they've stopped the bleeding there. That's just at the right time. There's still plenty of time to go in this game. I've got a feeling this is going to be a close one, Bob. I think you were right.
And after 3 innings, it's Mavericks 8 and
It's great to see as well
12.
the difference in, particularly in the women hit
Let's hear it
batters
for
in
Sarah
NSL2
Doherty
these
and
days compared to
Gina
years ago.
Crew at
Now,
home plate,
so many more
keeping
women
us
can hit all
fit
fields
and
than they used to be able to,
water and long.
offering a lot more offensively than they did before. And that's wonderful to see because it makes it so much more competitive, much tougher game, brings the women more into the game. And the introduction also of the 11-inch ball has made a massive difference.
Oh, a huge difference. Yeah, outfielders can't pinch in on them. There's
Exactly.
space to hit the ball.
And you know, if you're a petite woman as well, and you don't want to be hitting a lovely line drive into centre right and having people thrown out on 2, it just doesn't seem right. So that's really stopped that happening, and now women are much more offensive part of the game than they were, which is how it should be.
Anthony Garcia Reyes is leading off here for the Mavericks in the top of the 4th inning. Tony Soterio still pitching for the Bees. And that's a base hit. That's a line drive into center field, and that's going to go all the way
He is
to
fast.
the fence.
He is covering the ground.
And
That's
it's going to
a
be
home
an
run.
inside the park home run. The throw comes in. It's way too late. And the Mavericks don't waste any time.
He's pretty pleased with that. Should be. Great hit, great running. And even though it's no runners on, that kind of hit can lift a team.
Absolutely. And now Joanna Griffin is going to try and keep this going. Count goes to 1-1. The Mavericks, of course, won the NSL2 league.
They did, pretty comprehensively.
That's a little pop-up. Tony Soterio going for it. He's got it.
Lost his hat, caught the ball.
So that's 1 out. So it's probably not a surprise they're in the final.
Not really, no. I mean, it looked a bit dodgy for a while, but like we say, that teams are so close, and now the best, according to this year's NSL League 2 table, the best 8 teams are here. It won't necessarily be the same 8 next year. We thought it would be close, and it's proved to be the case. Quite any number of teams could have made the semis even before the last game today.
This is Pete Nightingale at the plate. He takes a strike and then a ball. And trying to go to right field, but hits the ball foul, well foul. So count goes to 1-2.
So the Mavs will really be looking to players like Pete to bring some hits to a game like this. They really need him. And there it is.
Ooh, it's a line drive, but it carries out to the left fielder. Sharply hit, but nicely
That
taken.
just kept going, didn't it? It's a shame to hit that well.
So it's 2 down, nobody on. And Emma Carruthers come up to bat. Ball inside. And there's a base hit into right center field.
She's hit very well so far in this game.
Yes, Sam! Yes, Sam!
I mean, the thing about women hitting to all fields is it keeps rallies going. It means
Yeah.
that you score in bunches instead of maybe 1 or 2. if
Staying
you're-
out of double plays, out of the fielder's choices. It gives you runners on you know, if a guy's going to come up and hit the big shot, then that's just more runners on. That becomes more dangerous then. Makes the men more dangerous.
Count goes to 2-0 on Ian Yates. There's a strike. Bees dugout feels a little bit anxious right now. They're cheering strikes. 3-1 is the count. Strike two. A walk, of course, will load the bases because the following female batter will probably take the automatic walk. But that's a one hop and a shortstop over to second base for the force.
Just what he didn't want, unfortunately. I'm
So-
talking of female hitters as well. Also, there's also the power hitters, like Vicky Chapman hitting a 3-run homer over the fence today in NSL1 to help Pioneers win their semi-final.
I mean, Vicky Chapman saved that game for Pioneers.
It's just phenomenal.
It looked like an upset on the cards.
And there are a number of women who are capable of that.
It looks like we're having a substitution for the Mavericks.
Providing the web streaming commentary. And a thank you to the YSLV team for providing the filming and technical support today.
Substitutions for the Mavericks. The pitcher Adam Cole has taken himself out and put Ellie in, and Joe is out, and Tanya's come in. And so we have Tonya
Bastille in for Ellie Buckley. No, for Joanna Griffin. This is Rachel Martins, the catcher for Bristol. Line drive caught by Emma Carruthers at third base. Nice catch. The ball was low to her left, and she snagged it.
Yeah, she saw that all the way.
So one out for Bees, who are suddenly finding it hard to get base runners, where at the beginning of this game it was easy. Tony Soterio trying to go to right field, hits the ball foul.
Yeah, in a situation like this, I would rather see him go with his power down the left side, trying to manufacture a hit to the right field with no runners on.
Ground ball to shortstop. Anthony Garcia Reyes over to first base in time for the out. And you can see Emma Carruthers at third base with her hand over her eyes, so the sun is becoming a big factor on the left side.
So, you know, why not use that? There's no runner on one that you're trying to hit around, so, and obviously with the right-handed batter, his power is the left side, so if I was him, I would probably try and put that down the line.
Another ground ball to shortstop. Anthony Garcia Reyes up with it, but the throw is in the dirt. Picked up in time, according to the umpire.
I'd say it was marginal. But she did recover, so. She
did recover, so that's the third out. The Mavericks come slowly off the field, and the Bees fail to score again.
Yeah, it was stuttering a bit. But that's the beauty of this game. They could come out next inning and hit 10. You just don't know.
Is it 12-9?
Creeping ever closer. That's 12 now, 9 now to the Bees. foul ball there. This is the Mavs first basewoman up to bat.
This is Ellie Buckley. Hits the ball sharply to and through second base into right center field, so the Mavericks have a leadoff hitter on.
And very much like in the first inning, another ground ball through second base with hard hit. So we've got another substitution in here for the Mavericks.
So Ian Yates out.
Okay, and he's straight up to bat. This is Lubo at bat.
And hits a base hit into left field between third and short. So the Mavericks immediately have 2 runners on base, nobody out.
So my mistake, that was Garcia at bat.
All right.
So he's in for Adam.
Ground ball to shortstop. Over to second base for the force play.
Bob, do you want the next game? Yellow?
Thank you.
So Charlie unfortunately hitting into a double play there. We're back at the top of the order here with 2 down for the Mavericks.
It's Lawrence Pearman at bat. So the Mavericks are not going to, well, we don't know yet. It looks like they're not going to close the gap this inning.
Good
Still-
patience in the batter here.
It's a base hit into right center field, hard ground ball up near second base. So that's 2 runners on for Mavericks, and they might still do something this inning.
This is Leanne up to bat, who's now moved into centre field, centre left.
Takes a strike. It's a little fly ball into right field, and no one can catch that. And that brings 2 runners home. The throw to home was in time, dropped by the catcher.
Always a tough play to make when the runner runs into the ball in your hand. That's tough to hang on to it there. But
Meanwhile-
unfortunately, she made a good tag, but the impetus of the batter took it out of her glove.
Meanwhile, Ian Cracknell goes all the way around to third base. There were 3 players going for that little pop fly into right center field. Nobody could quite catch up to it. It hit off someone's glove out there.
Yeah, dropped out of off Ross Maskell's glove, but it was a long run for him. That's not an easy one.
And this brings up Antonio Garcia Reyes, and a base hit will tie the game. And instead, the ball's hit right back to Tony Soterio, throws to first, and the Bees get out of the inning with clinging to a 1-run lead, 12-11.
Let's see if they can bring some more hits to this next inning. And they've dried up a little bit.
Bees 12. We've got a couple of substitutions for the Mavericks to tell you about. Pitcher Adam is coming out to be replaced by Eliezer. In left field, we have Joe coming out to make way for Tonya. And we've got Lubo coming in at left field for Ian.
So this is the bottom of the bottom of the fifth inning here. Bristol Bees clinging to a 12-11 lead over the Mavericks. Pete Nightingale continues in the circle for the Mavericks.
Bottom of 5. So we're at bottom of 5 here. We're at the top of the Bees order, and this will be a really good time for them to string a few together here.
This is Chris Ingle at bat, and he's being patient. Count is 2-1. And now it's 2-2. Line drive, in and out of Emma Crothers' glove. She has no time to make the throw. That was very hard hit, and the ball was dipping as it got to her.
She did well to get the glove to that. It was moving, and the sun was right in her eyes. So she keeps him on the infield, so that's good. She keeps him on 1. The opportunity for the double is there.
And Kerry McGinnis is the batter. Bees really need something here to check the momentum, because the momentum has been with Mavericks now for the last couple of
Got to
innings.
swing it back.
Kerry takes a strike. Ground ball to shortstop, over to second for 1, on to first, not in time. The throw goes past the first base player. But Kerry McGinnis can't advance, so the Mavericks trade the Mavericks get it out and don't lose the base.
A pretty poor throw from second base there. The first base never had a chance of that.
The number of times you see that, you
Yeah.
know, you get a ball hit to shortstop, you get the force out at second, and the throw to first is just not what you want
No,
at all levels. And NSL1 is
definitely, yeah. And sometimes you just got to really look to be making that one out. It's the important one to get. It's the first one, and then there's tendency to rush for the second when it's not even necessarily there.
This is Ross Maskell, chopper to second, goes to shortstop for the force out. That's all they take. It's all they need.
They've started to hit the ball on the ground in the infield a bit now. The line drives to the outfield have dried up a little bit for the Bees.
So 2 down, still a runner on first for the Bees, and Charlotte Sykes is the batter.
You know, I'd really like to see her go right field here.
That pitch is low.
Too many batters, I think, at this point now are hitting the ball on the ground to shortstop and hitting into double play situations when they are under not that much pressure from the pitcher, with 1 strike on them maybe.
It's ball 2 inside. Charlotte takes a strike if she wasn't really ever going to swing at that. A 2-1 pitch.
And she does just that. She goes right side.
Into right field, taken with the third out, and once again,
Oh, it was a good hit.
it was a line drive,
Yeah,
but
it was.
right at the right fielder. So
Yeah.
once again, the Bees don't put anything on the scoreboard.
The right fielder was very well placed for that. A lot of times that would drop in. She'd moved off her line a bit, was ready for that one.
So we're going to the top of the 6th inning, and it's getting down to the crunch in this game.
Starting to get a little bit tense.
Bees 12, Mavericks 11.
And the Bees are really going to want to hold the Mavericks here. They don't want to stretch their lead at this point.
And it looks like we have a substitution for the Bees. It's the umpire.
So for the Bees.
sort of centre right, and Callum is coming in the same position in the field. He's out there now.
As Callum joins. And the batter for the Mavericks is... This is Tonya Bastille having her first at bat in this game. She came in for Joanna Griffin in the last inning. And hits a fly ball out into left field, and he's taken for the first out.
That was a good take from the left fielder there, running into the sun. Had quite a long way. Good catch.
As Trevor Sykes took that catch. That will bring up Pete Nightingale. Swings, hits the ball down the third baseline, past the third base player. Pete's going for second, and he's going to make it easily. The throw is a bit offline. So Pete Nightingale took advantage of the sun, hit the ball just hard down the third baseline.
Perfect. He loves that shot. And it's good aggressive running second base as well. It was important that he got second there. Just gives him a little bit of breathing space.
So now let's see if Emma Carruthers can score him.
She's been hitting well. She might also go after that same line.
Takes the strike.
She knows only too well playing third base how bad the sun is at the moment, so see if she tries to make it work for her.
Little pop fly foul. That's going to be out of play. Hits the roof of the dugout. That's Carrie McGinnis down there at third base for the Bees with her hand in front of her face to...
Yeah, she's probably better off using her bare hand rather than her glove. So it means her glove is rather high up in the air when the ball comes at her.
Count goes to 1-2. Here's the pitch. And it's a chopper to third base. Carrie, ball goes off her glove. There's no way to make a throw.
That's a perfect example there. The third base's glove was closed and above her head, and the ball was hit. She had to bring her glove a long way down. It was still closed, and that's why it bobbled off a closed glove.
Yeah, little margins, little things that are different about the situation.
Learning to cope with these kind of conditions, learning to play in these conditions and what you should do.
This is Lubomir, line drive just inside the left field line, going down into the corner. That's going to score Pete Nightingale. Emma Carruthers stops at second base. The Bees get the ball back in.
Excellent line drive, just coming into the game.
And that ties the score.
Oh, this could be nice and close going into the seventh then. That's what we want. Let's see if the Mavs can get themselves a little lead before we go into the seventh inning.
And a little pop fly. That's taken by the Bees catcher. That'll be the second out. And the Bees dug out there saying that's a big out.
Nice hustle from the catcher there. They're quite tough to catch those. They spin an awful lot. So you've really got to keep your eye on them and use both hands always.
Yeah, because it can pop out of the glove.
They spin straight out.
There's a long drive into left center field. That's going to be over the head and over the fence on a bounce. This can be a ground rule double for Reyes and Mendoza. That brings a run in, and it gives the Mavericks their first lead.
Yeah.
Runners on second and third. And Charlie Cook is the batter.
Yeah, centre left seemed to lose that a little in the sun.
So it's taken the Mavericks 6 innings to finally get on top. And here they are, 1 run ahead, 2 down. It's a ground ball. Foul, but close.
Luckily that was foul for the batter there, because you wouldn't want that one to be fair.
The batter was actually at fair territory, so the The runner on third was the fair territory. Here's a fly ball into left field. That's going to be taken by Trevor Sykes for the third out. So the Bees, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse, yeah.
The Mavericks are in the lead for the first time after 5.5 innings, 13-12.
Let's see if the Bees can respond. What have they got left?
And they're going to have to respond because
Another substitution to tell you about for the Bristol Bees this time. Number 28, Callum Joins comes into right center, and Ross Maskell comes on.
So they've gone with the substitution, see if they can pick up some more hits here.
it's a long time since they've scored, and that's the problem. They scored heavily in the first 2 innings and nothing since.
And you really feel that, even if you've had a big inning, when you haven't scored for a couple, it feels like forever, and they'll certainly be feeling that pressure now.
And the change of pitcher has probably had something to do with it, because Pete Nightingale replacing Adam Cole kind of coincides with the Bees drying up as far as runs are concerned.
And sometimes, even if they're quite similar pitchers, it's just seeing a different face out there. It makes the batters think a little bit.
And I think Pete has a little bit more control than Adam.
And he's unflappable, Pete.
I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. So George Stamets will lead off for the Bees in the bottom of the 6th inning. They're in the middle of their order. And takes the ball deep.
Good, trying to find players.
That's a strike. Count goes to 1-1. There's a ball hit deep to left center field. That's going to be down. That's going to go to the fence. And it's going to be a triple. The ball comes back in.
That's just what they needed. What a
exactly what they needed. A leadoff triple by George Stamets.
Excellent bat speed on that swing. He really brought the bat through quickly.
No, not yet. So Joe Brown comes to the plate, and the Bees have a number of chances to bring that run in from third base.
That just gives Jill a little freedom to hit where she wants to as well. Not having to hit around a base runner.
It's a ball back to the pitcher, which is what she didn't want. Throw to first for the out. So that's, well, the pitcher or third base are about the only place you can hit it when you're not going to score the run. So that's one chance gone. It brings Trevor Sykes to the plate.
Yeah, that was a little anxious, that at-bat. See what Trevor can do.
I mean, the Bees still have the advantage in this game that they are the home team. They will bat last.
If they can keep this close, and they'll fancy themselves.
And there's the base hit. That's a line drive into center field. Brings the run home easily, ties the score, and puts the Bees psychologically back into the game.
Very important hit there, clutch hit. There's nothing worse than getting someone all the way around to 3 on a triple and then not scoring them. So that was important.
Rachel Martins, the catcher, is now the batter. Let's see if she can turn this into something of a rally for the Bees. Ground ball to third base. Emma has it, goes to second for the force out. That's all they'll get, but that's enough. Nice play by Emma, nice throw to second base.
Again, Emma doing everything right at 3, coping with the conditions very, very well.
That's 2 down, and it will bring Tony Soterio, the pitcher, to the plate with a runner on first.
Tony likes a right field hit, so let's see.
Pete Nightingale is moving his right center fielder back a little bit.
You can be sure of pitching him inside as well.
And he does, and he gets a strike. That's a little pop fly in the infield and taken by the shortstop, Anthony Garcia Reyes. So the Bees tie the game, but nothing more, and that takes us into the 7th inning, all square.
All set up perfectly, really. Perfect finish. Starting all over again from scratch, yeah?
Yeah, nothing, one inning
one
to
in
play.
game. I think here it's who's strongest mentally. That's it. Both teams are tired. Who's got mentally what it takes to win this, get through this game?
Yeah, it's a long weekend. You're playing 10 games over the course of
and a lot of very competitive, very tough games.
Yeah.
13 apiece.
It's mentally exhausting. I mean, so-pitch softball is not the most physically demanding sport in the world, but long games like that we've had this weekend have been so close. It's mentally tiring.
I mean, what's really good is that over the last couple of years, NSL2 has been a big success because suddenly you've got an arena for the B teams where they're very competitive against each other. We've seen that this weekend. We've seen great games. We've seen a great final.
And then had teams like KKs going up from NSL2 and NSL1 last year and staying up this year, doing enough to stay in Division 1. Yeah, I think now that the NSL2 it's smaller than the old B grade, it's bringing more competitive games and it's bringing the level higher and higher.
And of course, we're seeing the interest in teams joining with that, and that's what the NSL3 here was about.
Yeah.
And two of those teams will join NSL2 next year.
Absolutely, you want to see that change, and other teams getting an opportunity to come into these NSL leagues.
And there's a line drive into left center field. It's down. And that's going to be a leadoff double.
That was a good effort from centre left there. She did everything she could, but the hit just beat her.
Yeah, the ball was dipping quickly on her.
It dipped hard and in the sun, but she made good ground on it. A little unfortunate.
So that's Lawrence Pearmain who hit that double, and it's Leanne Cracknell coming to the plate. So the Mavericks are at the top of their order. Ground ball to second base, up with it, over to first. They get the out. Lawrence Pearmain makes it to third base. The Bees will take that. The out is precious.
Yeah.
They may concede a run here, but if they concede just one,
that's really not going to be a problem for them, I don't think. In their minds, certainly being the home team then becomes a massive advantage.
So
the Mavs will really look to put a couple more at least on here.
And they've got the people up to do it. This is Anthony Garcia Reyes. He takes the ball. Again, the Bees would trade an out here for the run.
What Anthony wants to do here is to really look for a base hit here and not try to go too big. And risk fly out. The field are very deep on him.
And that's the base hit. Ground ball up the middle.
Perfect.
To right center field. Lawrence Pearmain comes home. Anthony Garcia Reyes stops at second base. And the Mavericks have the lead.
And their number 4 hitter, the Mavs, which has obviously got power coming up, and with Anthony's speed on the base path, this could be productive for Mavericks.
This is Tonya Bastille, who came into the game a couple of innings ago. And she hits the ball past the dive of the shortstop into center field. Sends Anthony Garcia Reyes to second base, and the Mavericks have a rally going.
That's a gutsy hit from Tonya there. And that brings up Pete. Just what the Bees don't want. So Pete took advantage of the sun on the left side in the last at-bat. He can also hit right field very powerfully, so let's see what he does here.
It's a high fly ball deep to left field, and that is gone.
He's done it.
It's a 3-run.
I wondered if he would won today. He does do that. He's got that capability.
3-run home run for Pete Nightingale, and does that break the game open?
Very much so, I think. I think it just puts that little bit of pressure on the Bees, quite a lot of pressure on the Bees. We'll see how they deal with it. It's only one down.
Only one down. The base is clear, of course.
And their best female hitter up.
That's what Pete Nightingale has always been able to do throughout his career.
That's the danger when you're facing Pete.
The ball hit foul. She was early on that.
Nice and aggressive from Emma there, I like that. She means to get a hit here.
It's inside, so the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. That's in the air, and it's down. The left center fielder couldn't quite get there, and looks like she
again,
might have hurt herself.
She made a tremendous run in on that. Really fantastic, and unfortunately the ball landed right on her wrist and not in her glove, and she's down a bit hurt here. But that was gutsy. She was really unlucky not to make that out, actually. She deserved it.
She's had a couple of tough plays this inning.
She has, but she's really aggressive. I like the way she moves in the outfield. So we'll have a little pause here while Emma gets, while the centre left fielder gets a little bit of treatment.
That's Charlotte Sykes who's down, and they're calling for some ice.
She's tough, though. They do hurt, those ones on the, not much flesh there on the inside of your wrist.
And she may have jammed her wrist on the ground as well, possibly when.
Oh, she's good. That won't stop her.
So she trots back out to her position. The Bees come back to their positions, and the Mavericks have a runner on first base. The one out.
Yeah, I'll just put some ice in the pressure. Yeah.
Another guy who's capable of putting it over the fence.
This is Lubo. He takes the ball and hits a fly ball into left field, and that's the second out. No advance by the base runner.
Yeah, not deep enough for Emma to take second on that one.
So the Bees have one route to go, and then they will have a 4-run, mountain, hill decline.
Oh, hill. They've got a good chance. It all depends really on how they approach it and how tense they feel in that situation.
And how tense the Mavericks are in the field. So when balls are hit at them, can they make the plays? Swing and a miss.
I'd say, knowing the Mavs, they're more likely to be a little more relaxed than the Bees, but, I might be wrong.
Sally Buckley at bat. Still a runner at first base. Little pop fly, that's going to be Tony Soterios. He's got it. The Mavs are down, but not before a lot of damage was done. Big 3-run home run by Pete Nightingale, 4 runs in total.
And a couple of lucky ones really were, if they'd been caught, they would have been outstanding plays. So we'll see what the Bees have got.
Jan, can you confirm the score? Yeah.
Nice high-scoring game as well, lots of hitting.
Yeah, not quite 22-18.
Not far off. But the Bees are totally capable of taking the win here. The Mavs know it as well. They're not easy to beat, the Bees. They're one of those teams.
The Mavs are walking slowly out to their positions. The sun is a real problem. Just Pete Nightingale getting the ball from the umpire could barely see it. See if the Bees can take advantage of that.
You can see Holly puffing her cheeks out here, coming up to bat, getting rid of any nerves she might have.
So the Bees start with the bottom of the order with Holly Von Penguin, but then they go to the top. So that gives them chances.
She's as good a leader as any to have in this situation.
Holly steps in. Pete Nightingale is ready to pitch.
The Mavericks looking here for the clean sweep.
And Holly takes the strike.
Having taken an NSL2 league title.
Line drive, one hop to the shortstop. Anthony Garcia Reyes over to first, and that's the first out.
It always feels good when you get the first batter out. It's a big mental barrier.
Absolutely. So now it's the top of the order with Chris Ingle, and the Bees need some base runners quickly.
He's a man who can do it, definitely. The Bees have got to be patient at bat and make sure they're hitting pitches that they know they can hit well.
And it's a ball and a strike. The first pitch was inside. That was over the heart of the plate.
But even if they have to go deep into the count here, they need to only hit ones that they want to be hitting, and that wasn't it. It was a strike, but not for Chris.
And there it is, the base hit. Roped into left field. So
Good job.
Chris
Good
Ingle is
focus.
on base and the Bees are alive. Kerry McGinnis needs to keep it going.
So Kerry will be looking for a nice outside pitch that she can line drive to the right side here. And Pete will be knowing exactly that, doing his best not to give her one.
And everybody on the left side of the field for the Mavericks has their hands in front of their eyes. Kerry takes strike one. And it's a base hit into left field over the head of Emma Carruthers. Nice stroke. Didn't try to
Excellent
do
base
too
hit.
much.
Just put the ball into play. It's not time to be trying to hit the ball too hard now. Got to get runners on.
So now, a little bit nervous out there for the Mavericks. Runners on first and second. We're still, the tying run's still in the on-deck circle as opposed to at the plate.
Another good hitter up to bat here.
This is Callum Joins. Came into the game for Ross Maskell a couple of innings ago, and this is his first at bat, I think.
They're showing good mental strength here, the Bees, in their pitch selection and their hitting.
That's inside, and a walk here would be great for the Bees.
Yeah, it really would, yeah.
That's a strike.
He's comfortable here, though.
And he takes strike two, so the count is full. And it's a base hit into center field. That's going to score a run.
That's an excellent at-bat from Callum there. Took the pitcher all the way and only hit when he had to, and then did a great job with what he had to hit.
So the Bees they're being very patient here. They're not trying to do too much. They're not trying to hit the ball
It's
in
very
the
smart.
fence. Kerry McGinnis stopped at second base, so the runners on first and second. One out.
Intelligent softball.
And Charlotte Sykes at the plate. And if she can get a base hit, the whole complexion of this inning is going to swing towards the Bees.
I'm pretty sure it's Charlie who parked a couple over the top of our left fielder at NSL2. That's a fabulous hit.
It's a base hit right up the middle. That's going to score Kerry McGinnis.
Centre right fielder was too busy looking up to see what was happening in the infield when he hadn't even got the ball off the grass yet. Really need to focus on getting the ball into his hand, ready to throw it in.
So now the tying run for the Bees is on first base. The winning run is coming to the plate.
I was having a chat with George, the batter, earlier today, and he said that he couldn't buy a hit yesterday, and he's already had one good hit in this. We're hoping for another one here.
He just needs to keep the thing going. Nothing big. We don't need that.
Yeah, base hit here. Don't want to be looking at the fences. The fielders are deep. You want to stay away from them.
And takes the strike. Pete Nightingale throws the ball down the middle.
We've got two good runners on base too.
And strike two. So now
Strong from Pete.
Pete can throw anything, really. And the ball is high in the air. It's deep. And it's caught for the second out. The base runners will both move up.
That was an excellent catch. It was right in the sun.
Right in the sun, and a crucial catch.
Leanne there in centre left.
But it does put the tying run on second base. And a base hit will tie this game, probably.
So we've got two down here. So pressure on here.
Pressure on Joe Brown, particularly. The Bees right fielder who has to reach base. Or the Mavericks are the NSL2 champions.
Patient here, and patient but aggressive here.
She takes a strike.
Pete's doing very well keeping the pressure on these batters.
And that is to shortstop and into the glove of Anthony Garcia Reyes. The Mavericks hang on. The Mavericks are NSL2 champions for 2018, and both teams played a marvelous game of softball.
That was a fantastic final. Well done to both teams there. But
The-
yeah, Mavericks take the NSL2 league title and the Nationals. And they deserve it. I mean, they've been consistently strong all season.
And that means they go to NSL1 next year?
They go up. No, I don't think there's a promotion from the Nationals. They're up in NSL1 from the league,
from
yeah,
the
but not
league,
from the Nationals.
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But congratulations to the Bees as well. And they've had a superb season, and that was a great final.
It was a great final, and the Mavericks held their nerve in that inning. But
They
the
did,
Bees
yeah.
did too, because the Bees put runners on base. They got base hits.
Yep.
Um,
They had a fantastic second inning. About, I think it was the second, wasn't it, when they hit so many. They just couldn't quite hang on to it, and they couldn't quite kind of build on that.
so now the two teams are going to shake hands, which is traditional, and the trophies will be presented, I guess, at the end of the NSL1 final.
yeah.
There'll be a ceremony for
So-
all of the teams that have won trophies over this
Exciting
weekend.
times. Very exciting for softball, Soviet softball. Very exciting for NSL2, and the future's bright. Definitely, so many strong players coming through now. Lots of young players coming into the game in a lot of these teams.
So we'll be saying goodbye now, but only for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll be back with the Premier Nationals, the NSL1 final between Chromies and Pioneers very shortly.